All right, let's get on with our second conversation on Good Morning Nigeria today, and it's all about the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. That's UK's longest-serving monarch. She died yesterday, Thursday, at the age of 96, and that's after reigning for 70 years. That's 7 decades. Kingsley.
That's right. Members of the royal family gathered at the royal estate in Balmoral, Scotland, after concerns grew about her health earlier on Thursday. Well, Queen Elizabeth II came to the throne in 1952 and witnessed enormous social change, not just in the United Kingdom, but in the Commonwealth and the world also. She said to have reigned during the also tenure of some 15 prime ministers of the United Kingdom, as well as more than a dozen presidents of the United States of America.
And indeed, half a dozen of popes and so many. She was also the patron of, quite a number of organizations and charity homes, and was very instrumental with, the different alliances that the UK has had, with other countries. And we know that she was also the head of over the Commonwealth with over 50 or 52 or thereabout countries. So with her death, her eldest son, Charles, the former Prince of Wales, of course, will be leading the country in mourning as the new king, and of course, he is to be known as Prince Charles the Third.
No.
Sorry, King Charles.
King Charles. Yeah, well, it might take a while, Claire. It might take a while for people to to adjust from the Prince of Wales to King Charles the Third. That's the same way the saying, if you know the saying, God save the Queen, as the English people would say. Now it is God save the King. So it's taking some adjustment. And just by the way, to also point out that some years ago, Queen Elizabeth II relinquished her titular headship of the Commonwealth. At that time, Prince Charles, as he then was, took over the headship. Now, the Queen was head of state to more than a dozen countries. Now, that position will also be taken over by King Charles III, amongst those countries, Canada, Jamaica, and Australia.
The lot is expected to happen.
That's right, Claire. We have two guests who will be discussing the life and times of Queen Elizabeth II. First here in the studios, it's Dr. Adoye Matthew Omale. He's a political scientist and international affairs analyst. Dr. Omale, glad to have you again on Good Morning Nigeria.
Good morning, and I'm happy to be here.
All right, then, Claire?
Yes, okay. We also have joining us for this conversation via Zoom from the UK is Ambassador Tunji Ishola, and he's Nigerian High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. Your Excellency, thank you very much for finding time to join us.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
All right, Ambassador Tunji Ishola, once again, I welcome you, just like my colleague has done. The United Kingdom is in mourning, the Commonwealth, and indeed the rest of the world. Everyone is in mourning over the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. Can you describe for us what's playing out at the moment in the United Kingdom?
Well, the whole of the United Kingdom, as at today, is thrown into mourning. Because of the sudden exit of a great monarch. The Queen, as we all know, means a lot to all of us. And the love is beyond everything. It is important to know that as Africans, many of the British colonies that attained independence in Africa attained independence during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Nigeria, Ghana, Namibia, Botswana, name it. And that's of great significance. Within 30 years of rule, she was able to facilitate the independence of about 11 African countries. And if you go to the Commonwealth, she started with a Commonwealth of 12 nations and grown to a Commonwealth of 56 nations. You will recall vividly in the 50s when the Queen visited Nigeria. It was with pomp and pageantry. And even the last Commonwealth that held in Nigeria, Nigeria adores the Queen. And if you take it within the context of United Kingdom, Queen is the symbol of unity. Whether, I mean, you're talking of political divide, you're talking of religious divide, you're talking of so many divides. At every celebration, the Queen will bring all the religions of the world together. I mean, the last 70th anniversary, you had a rabbi, you know, on the theme of prayers. You have a Catholic bishop. They had Muslim clerics, and so on and so forth. And that's as far as religious divide is concerned. And on the political side, whether it's Labour Party or Conservative Party or other parties, they are all unanimous in the symbolic nature of this great monarch. And 70 years on throne of any monarch, it's unprecedented, given the fact that the knowledge that has gone, you know, will take how many years to retrieve, because some of this repository of knowledge, you know, dwell on the fact that it's retained. A lot of this knowledge may be transferred through books and other things, but there are some that remain within the innate personality of any individual. And
Ambassador Shala, yes, Your Excellency, thank you very much. I quickly like for you, because we have another guest here, speak to us. You had the privilege of meeting with the Queen, of course, during the presentation of your letter of credence. Talk to us about her nature and the kind of person, you know. Again, she's never been associated with any scandal or controversy, you know, during her lifetime. Not anyone that I've heard or know.
Well, thank you for limiting me, because if you allow me, we'll be in the next hour talking about the Queen. But as far as the presentation of the letter of credence is concerned, that day was, you know, a day of fulfillment in my life, having the opportunity to interact with the Queen. And I was really amazed. The Queen, very alert, you know, I mean, quite aware of everything around her, even at age 95 then. So I keep on looking at it from the perspective of somebody who really loved the world. The Queen was more concerned about the Commonwealth. You know, the emphasis was not even strictly on British-Nigerian relations, but rather on Commonwealth. Even when I discussed the issue of binational commission between Nigeria and Britain, the Queen was emphatic that whatever I want to achieve, can't we achieve through the Commonwealth? So I tried to explain some of these issues to her. And that's really, I mean, that's just a passion. You know, giving the love that she has for Nigeria in particular. Having visited us a couple of times in the 50s, I mean, she was there during the last Commonwealth meeting, and a lot of the programs that will be sustained by King Charles III were actually started by the Queen. The one that's of particular importance, of particular importance, is the issue of the Green Wall project, that is working on climate change and desertification in Nigeria. So as far as the Queen is concerned, on that occasion, you can really see somebody who was quite alert. I was really stunned. Her level of engagement, she was quite engaging. And you discovered that she did that even to the last time. Just on Tuesday, she appointed the Prime Minister. I mean, if anybody had said that this woman will exit within the next 48 hours, you would just think it's impossible. But nevertheless, we must appreciate the fact that that is the exit of the righteous, sudden exit with accomplishment.
Ambassador Tunji Ishola, while you're still with us via Zoom, let me just make a suggestion. I don't know, the Zoom is unstable, it's wavy, so if we get it a bit more stable, that would just help. By the way, Ambassador Ishola, tell us something what the Nigerian mission in London just might do. Because the Queen was Nigeria's head of state at independence until we became a republic in 1963. Because Zik then was Governor General, and Zik became president, ceremonial president, on October 1, 1963. So the Queen being the former head of state, just as she was, of course, to Jamaica, Australia, Canada, and a number of other countries. What does this mean to us?
Yes, thank you very much. When the news broke at exactly 6:30 yesterday evening, I was on my desk in the mission, a couple of meetings scheduled for 7 o'clock, but I had to cancel those meetings and ask everybody in the mission to leave because, immediately we enter into a mourning period. By this morning, the flag of Nigeria will fly at half-mast at Northumberland and at the residence. In addition to that, we're going to open a condolence register for Nigerians and other desirable people that would like to pay condolence, and this register will be forwarded to Buckingham Palace upon completion. Those are the immediate actions that we will embark upon. But later today, I'll meet with mission officials to look at what the British government has, and we have to dovetail into that as a mission.
Okay, Your Excellency, let's keep you on hold so that you catch your breath for a while before we come back to you. We have Dr. Adoyi Matthew Omale, who is head of Department of the International Relations and Diplomacy at the Bayes University here in Abuja. He's been sitting patiently. Of course, that's a virtue. It's hard to come back. Thank you very much, Dr. Omayi. But let me quickly say that the Queen, no doubt, was a very strong, steady hand on the Commonwealth. With her passing, how might that characterize the Commonwealth now?
Yeah, the Commonwealth has been a very closely knit body. The Queen, no doubt, has been providing the needed leadership for the Commonwealth. Though the Commonwealth basically is not as a multilateral body, is not as pungent as the United Nations and other similar organizations. But the Queen has been able to will the Commonwealth together, especially in relation to exchange of cultural ties, not necessarily in terms of trade, but to build relationship among the former British colony that the Queen has successfully done. And after independence, the Commonwealth provided a platform where former British colony can share experiences, meet periodically, and the Queen will have a grasp of how they are doing. Most of those countries under her under the former British colony, how they are doing, and has been giving advices to some of those countries. I recollect in 1996 when under the Abacha regime, Nigeria was suspended from the Commonwealth because of our human rights records. So the Queen was able to use the platform of the Commonwealth to advance democratic ethos in most of the post-colonial Commonwealth countries.
Well, Dr. Omale, I think that some persons would argue that to restrict the influence and role and prestige of Queen Elizabeth II to the Commonwealth might not be sufficient justice to who exactly she was. I'll give you an example, and you speak to this as well. The healthy relationship between the United States, for instance, the most powerful country on earth, and the United Kingdom, many would argue, was in a sense anchored on the presence of the Queen. And international relations, even at some of the most tense moments around the world, the Queen's voice and the Queen's pronouncements were respected.
Yes, I agree with you. The Queen has been able to manage successfully the alliance and relationship between Britain and the United States. There's no question about that. Even in the most turbulent times, where a lot of people argue that Britain should be able to take the lead in terms of international affairs. Somehow, the Queen and the United Kingdom was able to marry, was able to cooperate with the United States. One of the examples was during the Gulf War, for example, when America was finding it very difficult to mobilize the United Nations to intervene in Iraq. The British government made it very, very clear that they are sticking with the Americans and actually contributed troops to the force that intervened in Iraq. So the Queen has consistently, over the years that she was the Queen of England, did all within her powers to maintain very close relationship with the United States, and not just with the United States, with the entire Western world. The U.S. also, you must also give it to them. They have always deferred to the British. I could not recollect any point in time where the United Kingdom, that has a permanent vote in the Security Council, voted against American interests, and vice versa. So I know that they are very, very close, and the Queen was very instrumental, as you have said, in maintaining this cordial relationship, even when it was almost there that they are going to have a misunderstanding. Somehow they were able to resolve and move forward.
Well, okay. I don't know. I mean, Claire, I want to have some recollections of moments of the Queen, say, with the Americans. During the Falklands War in 1982, yes. The Americans did something most unusual. America, that's to say United States of America, is a member of the OOS, that's the Organization of American States. And it was as if the U.S. broke from the ranks of the OOS states, of which Argentina was and still is a member, and backed the United Kingdom in the war over the Falklands Islands in 1982. The Queen also had, if you may, I mean, a chummy head of state relationship with Ronald Reagan. I remember the visit paid by Ronald Reagan to the United Kingdom.
Yes. And if you read the condolence messages, you know, from both the current and the past presidents of the United States, you will see and have a sense of how U.S. held the late Queen. Indeed, I don't have the words, but Barack Obama specifically, talked about her elegance, her poise, her grace, and that she stood against all odds, of course, odds that were against women and all that. And a lesson for most Nigerian, for us women and across the world, really.
Yeah, no question about that. I was just going to go back to Ambassador Tunji Ishola before we return to Dr. O'Malley. Ambassador Tunji Ishola, I mean, Claire was just recounting some of the virtues of the Queen Elizabeth II. Some persons would also say that she was a fashionista. Anytime she emerged, I was always bowled over by her sense of fashion, her appearance, her elegance. The silver hair that she had, I don't know, her hairstylists must have been amongst the very best, not just in the United Kingdom, but probably around the world. But again, there was also, we must acknowledge this, there was and there still is probably a gene of longevity in her family.
Precisely.
Her mom passed on at the age of 101. Her husband, Prince Philip, passed on last year at the age of 99, and she's gone now at the age of 96. But tell us some more, because you said you had about an hour, then you probably will. Just tell us some more about the Queen who is gone.
She's also very conservative, mind you.
Ishola, it looks like we've lost you. We wanted to have some more comments, but once That Zoom connection is...
What did you say, just say that made...
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. That's superstitious. But let's come back. Let's come back to Dr.
But
Mali.
talking about superstition, sorry, yes. Dr. Mali, talking about superstition, we heard that even though it rained in Burma yesterday, just before her passing, double rainbow, was seen over, the Buckingham Palace. Of course, it speaks to her, nature as a devout Christian. Christian, I don't think this is superstition now. This is just...
I have not verified that.
I've not verified that, Dr. Mali.
Yes, it's there. In fact, the British, correspondent, the BBC correspondent, did say from the Buckingham Palace that double rainbow was seen across, the Buckingham Palace. So please take case this way.
Okay, one thing you cannot take away from the Queen is her dress sense. She's very, very elegant. If you look at the way the colors are always very bright. I saw her in a blue skirt suit, and I said, wow. At almost 90-something, the woman, everything from the shoe to the bag, to the skirt, to the top, everything, even the
hairstyle.
And the hairstyle, everything was matching. And I said, wow. Even the hat she was wearing. So she has a very good dress sense, typical of the British. And one thing about her, again, is that she brought a lot of candor to that office. It was, when you are a queen or a king, your courage matters. She brought a lot of clout to that office.
Gravitas.
Yes, she was really, she has that quality, that charisma of a queen, and Charles was going to have a lot of catch up to do.
Yes,
in relation to that.
Yes, and I don't know, Dr. Mali, whether it is also your opinion that we might be seeing an entirely new order. New order again in the era of the Commonwealth, new order in what is going to happen in Northern Ireland. For a long time, Northern Ireland has been trying to, get their independence. And we'll also see, is it a new order even in the UK itself, with King Charles, the third, now, on the throne?
Yes, I heard Kingsley talked about this current, the Queen that just passed on. She carried out a lot of reforms, even in the British traditional institution. She did a lot of reforms. One of the key reforms she engendered was the Succession Act of the British system, where if you got married to a Catholic, if any of the children, any of the heirs got married to a Catholic, he would be denied the throne. She amended it and allowed, even if you are married to a Catholic, you could ascend the throne. She brought a lot of reforms to the British system. And that reform also reflected in her willingness. In 1952, when she became queen, it speed up the decolonization process. If it was maybe her father, which was King George the Sixth, it might not have sped up the process the way she did. So definitely, with Charles coming in, there's going to be a lot of changes, as you have seen, because everybody, once there's a change of leadership, a new leadership will want to make his or her own mark. The Queen emergence as a 25-year-old, young, vibrant lady, she came in and sped up the process of decolonization. I see Charles towing that line. And a lot of reforms that were done, especially within the British monarchy, she introduced far-reaching reforms that to make the monarchy in tune with reality. Don't forget that there have been a lot of modernity. There have been a lot of pressure on. I know I read in the past where there were agitations for a complete reform of the British monarch system.
Okay, I just wonder. Let me throw this in, Dr. Mali. As Ambassador Ishola said, we could go on for the next hour or more discussing issues of the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II. It was during her reign. Again, let me just throw this in. By the way, Claire, when she was 25 years on the throne, 1977, there was a great deal of celebration. around, of course, the Commonwealth, more particularly, because it also coincided with Festac 77.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was the campaign to get the Lady Idia mask, the original mask, for use for the Festac, but of course that didn't quite pan out. And now we are having a return of bronzes and other artworks that were taken from the Benin Empire in 1897. But one thing that happened during Queen Elizabeth's reign, it was during her reign that Britain had, for the first time, a female prime minister, namely Margaret Thatcher. But in 1986, I remember this incident very clearly, the Queen and Margaret Thatcher were almost on a collision course. And that also was threatening the Commonwealth, and this had to do over apartheid in South Africa. How to end apartheid in South Africa. Because Margaret Thatcher still remained slightly unconvinced. It was her politics. But the Queen was on the Commonwealth, of course, was on the other side. President you had an EPG, Eminent Persons Group of the Commonwealth, of which Obasanjo was a member.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, Dr. Mali, this last question in just 60 seconds. How should Nigeria and Nigerians remember the Queen, given that, yes, we were colonized by the British, yes, it was also during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II that, we got our independence?
Yes, I think we should join other world leaders and other countries to immortalize her. She deserves it. She has been a very, very important figure in the last couple of years around the globe. She has contributed significantly to human rights, pursuit of human rights in Africa. She has contributed significantly to giving self-esteem to we Africans by the way she has defended sit-tight regimes across Africa and even up to Asia. So she deserves all the accolades that can be given to her.
Adoye Matthew Omali, Head of Department of International Relations and Diplomacy, Bayes University, Abuja, and also International Relations expert and political analyst. We do thank you very much for coming to share perspectives.
Thank you very much.
And we have also appreciated Ambassador Tunde Ishola, Nigerian High Commissioner to United Kingdom, who joined us via Zoom. Kingsley, I'm so drawn to the British. My father had, relations with the British. My primary school had a lot to do with the British. I'm a Nigerian. I have a lot to do with the British. And of course, you know that the simplest question that every student would never miss during secondary school was, who is the Queen of England?
No, it was in the primary school.
Primary school.
Yeah, primary, that would be the primary school. And I never forgot, there was a jigsaw puzzle that our dad bought for us in the 60s. It was Queen Elizabeth and her children, Prince Charles, Prince Edward, and the other. You had to be putting the puzzle together in the 60s. So bless their souls.
We joined the first family in the UK to mourn her, everyone in Nigeria, and we wish her peaceful rest in paradise. That's Good Morning Nigeria for today. We thank you for watching. Don't forget, always stand up against rape and rapists. I am Claire Adelabu Abdulrazak. Have a good weekend.
And I'm Kingsley Osadolo saying have a nice weekend, but join us again on Monday, same time, 7 o'clock in the morning, for a fresh edition of Good Morning Nigeria.